What's up guys, today I'm going to show you how to set up rolling anti-lag or rolling launch control on the Hondata S300 software. Over the years I've seen a lot of people using the rolling anti-lag or rolling launch control on their Hondata equipped cars, but I haven't seen a video of anyone actually showing you how to set it up and what exactly you have to do to make it work. Now, the S300 does not have an actual rolling anti-lag feature, so what you will be doing is kind of like a trick and using the launch control function to make it work. Alright, so our first step is going to be we're going to make an actual wire harness to make a switch for the launch control or rolling anti-lag, whatever you want to call it. So what we're going to take is a standard like 2-pin connector, which this is going to go connected onto your SCS or service connector switch, and this you can get it at the junkyard or anything for a couple bucks. There's usually a few of them behind like the door panels, and it's usually on little connectors that use just 2 wires. So this is how our harness is looking so far. We have that OEM connector, and I just used some random, I believe 18 gauge scrap wire I had laying around. Now the color of the wires doesn't matter because this switch isn't going to have like a positive or negative. It's just going to be like an open and closed deal. Now that the harness is heat shrinked and soldered, now we could just add the switch to the end of it. So now that our harness is complete, I can go show you exactly where this plugs into. And I'm sure if you worked on Hondas, you know exactly where it goes. Alright, so we're in the passenger side footwell, and what we're looking for is this connector. Usually sits inside this green plug here. Now this is your service connector switch, which is the same one that you put a paper clip in to check your check engine light. And on the Hondata software, you can use this to set off a whole bunch of different features like arming nitrous or launch control and different things like that. So you can see we've got that plugged in. It's a factory connector, so it sits real tight and nice in there. And for now, we're just going to leave this harness basically a little long. You know, we could always cut it down and basically hide the switch somewhere, or maybe put it right here. But now I'm going to show you guys how to set it up on the actual ECU. Alright guys, so here we are. We're in the Hondata software. So basically what we're going to do is go to parameters, and we're going to go to launch control. No, we're already there. Okay, so basically what you want to do is choose the service connector switch as your activation. As you can see, you have a whole bunch of other options to pick, but this is the easiest one since it's basically a pre-wired switch. As you can see, it's that service connector switch over there. And what you're going to do is, everyone's launch control settings are going to be a little bit different depending on engine, turbo size, but these settings here are what I've used, and it tends to light up the turbo pretty quick, and I'll show you guys an example in a little bit. So once you guys have basically saved your file and chose, service connector switch as your input to activate your launch control, you'd want to test and make sure that your switch is actually working. So I like to open up the sensors tab, and basically we'll look for SCS, which is on the bottom, and I will press the switch, and you'll see that it goes from on to off, on, off, on, off. So we know that the connections are fine and that this will actually activate the launch control once the car is running and it's at the basically at the preset RPM. So now that the car is running, we're just going to let it get up to operating temperature. I always like to wait till it gets to like 160 to 180 before I actually rev it up or anything like that. As you can see, it's still fairly cool out. It is about 65 degrees outside right now, and it's, you know, the garage has been open, so it'll be a few minutes before it actually warms up. So while I have the car warming up, I went ahead and uploaded the map that I did the adjustment on. So basically it's the one with the rolling anti-lag that I have up here. So now that I uploaded that to the actual ECU, before it was just showing the service connector switch light activating, because my previous map didn't have anything to do with the actual switch. It was basically just doing the normal thing, which is flashing the check engine light if you had any check engine codes. Now that this map is actually activating the launch control with that same switch, you'll see that two sensors actually activate when I press the button. So right here it's off, you'll see that SCS turns on and the launch control activates. Off, and then on again. Alright, so just a quick recap. You can see that coolant temperature is warm now, and we can see that on the switches we have the launch control and the service connector switch working when I press down on the button. So right now I'm going to rev it up. As we can see, launch control is set at 5100, and if I rev it up without the button, it goes right past. Now I'm going to hold the button down and we're going to do it again. As you can see, it starts to build boost.